Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins in a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future home buyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of home ownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.any-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@any-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923, AnyMac Home Mortgage, an equal housing lender, American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC, DBA AnyMac Home Mortgage, LoFi Direct, Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent, License Lender, Broker Number ML 338923, Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License Number MC 338923, Rhode Island License Lender, License Number 201128110L. Call for additional details.
Throwing jabs, always full send. Here we go again. Jared, Joe, and Jay's Clover Crest, top three corner men. Punching in with a puncher's chance. We find a way to win. The main event, lock it in. Every Saturday at 10. The overhand is out of hand when it comes to fisticuffs. Slide a hand on the undercard, you'll never see the punch. Uppercut, got you missing weight. Feet are stepping late. Keep your guard up, feeling faint from a feint. Take a stand and eight, then retaliate. Put up your duke, stick and move. Bob and weave. Don't lose hope against the ropes. There's always an escape. Never stay down. One more round, bells ringing. Counter punch with your chin tucked and go down swinging. We bringing crosses with no worship, hooks with no verses, combinations with no locks. When you feel the flurry of curtains, from scrub scraps to fight stats, relax if you want the facts, cause the best combat podcast is throwing jabs.
Woo! Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Throwing Jabs, the Combat Sports Podcast. Back again on a Friday night. Maybe one day we'll get back to Saturday at 10. But for right
every
now,
Saturday at 10.
I mean, we still are going every Saturday at 10. If you're missing us live, you can catch the rerun every Saturday at 10. But all right, let's dive in. We had some decent fights this past weekend. We got another big one. All just building up to a big week of fights next week. But let's dive in. Starting off, Jamal Hill finishes Thiago Santos in the fourth round. I believe the last Jamal Hill fight against Johnny Walker, this is what we predicted with him fighting Santos next. And that was the fight he needed to get to that championship. It was a good fight. Hill dominated for the most part. But is he deserving of Prohaska after this show? Is that the fight to make next?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it might be. This was a good win for Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill hits hard. I like him. He really thinks of himself as something special, and I appreciate that. I don't see special in there. I see a guy who hits really hard. I see a guy who is in great shape, but I don't know that he seems to think he's doing something that other people aren't doing. And if it's winning, other people are doing that, Jared. So I'm not sure exactly what he's talking about. He looks like a contender, no doubt, but nothing to write home about.
Yeah, I got to agree with that. Wasn't in the top 10 before this, not ready for a title shot. And I think we saw that. Took you 4 rounds to get rid of a gatekeeper. Somebody ready for a title shot's getting rid of in a round and a half.
Yeah,
he dominated.
Pretty shot, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm done with him.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing with this division. It's ever since John Jones left, It's the dinosaurs. I mean, is exactly. Chandler Jones's brother. That's how I'm going to refer to him here. Chandler Jones's brother.
Chandler, I know.
But yeah. So I mean, what else is there? Do you really want a rematch with Prohaska and Glover? I think the Blachowicz fight. I think that's still something that we need to see. But otherwise, there isn't that much to really write home about at the top of this division besides these two young up and comers. The young Lions killing one off to see who can take the crown, you know?
I really like Prohaska to hold it down here for a long time. I think the closeness of that fight with Teixeira was evidence of how good Teixeira is. And those are the two guys at the top of the game. That was the fight we needed to see, and now we have a champion. And he wins 3-4 in a row. I don't care if one of them is against Hill. Let's do it.
All right.
If I'm Prohaska, I think I would love to fight Hill next.
Oh, yeah. Amp this guy right up.
Yeah. He's awesome. He's the top contender, and then go out there and beat him down. Because I do think,
Santos. He kept
again, listen, I like Jamal Hill. I liked him going into this fight. I like him leaving this fight. I still think Prohaska's head and shoulders above him right now.
Oh, above everybody except for maybe Teixeira, and he won that fight.
I'll tell you, too, listen, I think if Teixeira's not like 55 years old, it'd be a much different story. What is he actually, Jace? Is he 42, 43? What is he now?
Yeah, 40.
I mean, him at 35, I think it'd be a completely different story right now. Who the king of this division is.
Issues.
To be fair, to harken back to our Who You Got last week, a la Bernard Hopkins, Teixeira has made some adjustments that have made him better as he's aged in ways that you just don't see a lot.
Right. And what I mean to suggest is, if he could have done that and be in his prime age-wise,
42,
that would be a scary Glover Teixeira. Unfortunately, he didn't figure things out until he was 40.
Well, it wasn't. He didn't finish. He had visa issues for the longest time. That's why he
cut the crap with that.
That's why.
No,
he debuted at 32.
Yeah, listen, some guys take a long time to get to the big show. That happens.
Well, to be fair, the UFC wasn't huge before that.
Yeah.
Fair.
So he came up with the game. I like the guy. It's time to move on. And Prohaska is everything we want in a light heavyweight champion.
Yeah. I will say, if they do make the Jamal Hill Prohaska fight, I think that's a fight that two guys are going to stand in the middle and bang it out. And I think that's going to be a big eye-opener for a lot of casuals. And I think the winner right now looks like Prohaska. I think that's going to be the real eye-opening fight because we, as hardcores, we respect Blachowicz. We respect Glover Teixeira. But when the casuals are watching these old guys up there, they don't want to see that. They want to see the young up-and-comers doing some crazy spinning elbows and that stuff. And
I will say this. These two hanging in the pocket together, if you get that Prohaska Hill fight, I mean, Hill's a scary dude. Thunder in both hands. That's a guy that could, you got to be real careful fighting him. And going off of how sloppy Prohaska was in the championship fight with Teixeira, I'd be a little nervous about that. He also gets tagged a lot. And it's one thing to get tagged by a Glover Teixeira. It's another thing to get hit by the steel fists of Jamal Hill. It'll be, I'll say, again, I think skill-wise and fighting-wise, I think Prohaska's got an edge. But this dude does have the ability to knock you out quick like. So, be a good one.
It's the most athletic guy versus the most dynamic guy, I think.
Yeah, I like that's a good way to explain it.
Yeah. And I think if they do, I want to see the Prohaska Blachowicz fight first. But I think if Hill can continue on this trajectory, I think that will be a fun fight. This has the feeling to me like Adesanya versus Paulo Costa when they were both coming up. Now, Will a Jamal Hill or something turn into a Paulo Costa? I don't know. Maybe. Let's hope not. Hopefully this will turn into a Adesanya Whitaker type situation. 1 and 2, because that'd be fun too. Trilogy. Both these guys are young enough. Let's make it happen. Let's see something fun. What?
All right.
What was that, Joe?
Well, they haven't fought once. You already got a trilogy lined
No,
up.
I'm saying that there's potential here. They're both young in a division of dinosaurs. You can make something out of this.
You're right.
Hill would have to win. Hill's got to
True
win
that.
the first fight, even if he's competitive. What does the fight look like that Hill loses, that you argue for a rematch, that you're not arguing for a rematch with Teixeira right now?
Good point. I mean, Holloway.
Teixeira was the champ.
Holloway Volkanovski
Lost a razor close fight to Prochazka. If Hill loses, he doesn't get a rematch. He can't. It doesn't make sense. Otherwise, you got to argue for the Teixeira rematch now. If you're giving it to Hill, he loses. He goes back of the line, son.
All right, but what? All right, so the way things are looking out right now, we're already working on the Prochazka Glover Teixeira rematch. They were before this fight. That's scheduled for around this. That's looking to be like around December. So if that fight gets made, Hill versus Blachowicz has to be the fight, right? Thiago Santos is a gatekeeper, but he's like a gatekeeper to the top 5. Blachowicz at this point, he's a gatekeeper to the championship, right? Is that the fight to make out if you can't get the title fight?
I want Ankalaev to fight Hill. I'll put the young guys in there against each other.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah. They're totally different styles, make fights too, and it's a contrast. And I don't think Hill has any more right to talk about a Prochazka fight than Ankalaev. I mean,
all right, I like that.
Ankalaev beat number 5 Smith, beat number 8 Ozdemir, and number 9 Santos. So the third best guy he beat is Hill's best guy on his resume.
Yeah.
All right.
I'd argue for Ankalaev. If you don't get the rematch with Teixeira, I want Ankalaev. Otherwise, Hill should fight Ankalaev. And I hate saying I'm over Blachowicz. He's a great fighter, but man, he's that third guy. You know?
Okay.
That's more the gatekeeper than Santos, because most of these guys will Ozdemir beat Santos. Most of these guys will beat Santos.
I will say I keep talking about the dinosaurs. I want to see. I'd like to see these dinosaurs get killed off. I want to see Jamal Hill beat Blachowicz or Ankalaev beat Blachowicz. I want to see them get out of there before. Like, I want to see these young guys fight for a belt, have something a lot more meaningful on the line, build up some suspense a little bit more, and hopefully sell.
What about an interim championship belt?
Oh, that sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Maybe with that Chandler Jones fellow you were talking about.
By the way,
Jahan Jonas.
Jahan
Jonas.
Yeah, Tony brings up another good point about recently deposed champions not getting an immediate rematch. Definitely talking about Stipe still. It's worth bringing up.
Yeah, well, okay. Yeah, I mean, Stipe, but as far as I love Glover Teixeira. I was one that picked him against Blachowicz. Let's not forget that. But I will say with Glover, he didn't even defend it once. So I can see them moving on pretty quickly.
Well, also, he lost the fight in the last 25 seconds.
Yeah.
If I'm the champion, I'm like, oh, give me another one of that.
Yeah.
I got to get another crack at this. Holy smokes.
Yeah. But, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. This is the most interesting light heavyweight has been in a while, really. Since
very fan friendly.
The super fight, maybe, with Adesanya coming up. This has been the most interesting it's been. So I like to see it, or since that Chandler Jones guy left, Chandler Jones' brother. But all right, but going from all right, now let's step from the octagon to the boxing ring. Jared, your boy Virgil Ortiz Jr. stops Michael McKinson in the 9th round. Jared, give you the floor to talk about the man you've been talking about since this podcast started.
The guy I've been saying to keep an eye on. Now he beats another undefeated guy. All his fights he won by knockout. This guy's a phenom, a buzzsaw, walks through everybody. And I said this guy's left-handed, smaller, not much of a puncher. What do you have, 2 knockouts out of 20, Joe? We were trying to do some math on that. It wasn't very good, 2 out of 22. So he couldn't punch. And I said the sooner he goes into survival mode, the longer he'll last. If he comes out like Joe Smith Jr., he's going to get stopped in the 1st or 2nd round like Joe Smith Jr. But if he comes out and tries just to survive, and this guy was jump slapping and running away. Like he did not want anything to do it. And Ortiz tracked down a quick, tricky guy who wins all his fights by decision, right? Tracked him down and stopped him. This is what a lot of people aren't doing. The footwork, cutting the ring off, and just hard punches, just going after the guy and trying to get the stoppage. He looks like he's trying to hurt somebody. This is I want to see him fight Bud Crawford. I want to see him fight Errol Spence. I want to see this guy fight the best because he's up there. He's that. If you're still not seeing what I'm seeing, you're not watching. Did you see the fight? This kid's a buzzsaw. That was a good fighter he beat. That guy will beat most of those other cats in the division whose names aren't on your pound-for-pound lists. This was a good fighter he beat and blew him out. It was never close. Won every round. Stalked him. Tracked him down. Brought him into the deep waters and drowned him. Put some water in the basement. Huh?
Yeah.
Lights out. This kid is everything we want. As a boxing fan, as a boxing purist, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, and he loves doing it.
Yeah. But, Joe, I know both you and I are Bud guys. How does Virgil Ortiz, to me, he's getting close to that number 2. I think he's very, very close for Hop and Spence for me. I need to see Spence in the ring one more time to really make a definitive. What is you feeling the same way?
Listen, I'll tell you what. Virgil Ortiz Jr., mind you, this is the longest layoff of his career. He was coming off an injury too, new trainer, so he had a lot going on here. Fought a really good fight. I like that this thing went into the 9th round. I like that he dropped him in the 8th with a body shot. Again, I think so many of these guys, the Tanks and those guys, they love throwing those, they look like Michael Jordan Duncan, 3 steps, to throw the uppercut. This kid knows how to fight. He's sharp. He's tight. He's very powerful. And again, to see him in a fight like this, drop a guy with a body shot, again, tells me that this guy understands really how to fight. He's very exciting. Got a great future ahead of him. I'll still take Bud Crawford, but this kid's certainly going to get his shot against Bud Crawford. I'm saying
I know you take Crawford over Spence too, so I'm putting you on the spot. Ortiz or Spence?
I'll take Ortiz over.
Okay.
First of all, I'm not a Spence guy in any way, shape, or form. So, there you go. He definitely beats. I would totally agree with that.
Thurman is number the 4 with Virgil Ortiz Jr. at welterweight. Keith Thurman, Udonis Iguis, Spence, and Bud Crawford. Their ages 33, 36, 32, 34. Ortiz Jr.'s 24 years
I'll say
old,
this too, Jared.
Listen,
Bud's
younger than the average of that top 5.
Bud is not getting better than he is right now. right? Bud Crawford is the Bud Crawford you're going to see till he hangs him up. This kid's getting better. He's already excellent. He's already a great
what does
boxer.
he look like at 28?
Oh,
29 years old.
And it'll be interesting to see
10 years from now. What does he look like a full decade from now when he's Bud Crawford's age?
Yeah.
Woo!
The question is does he fight Bud now or does he fight Bud then?
I want to see it right now. He's ready.
I don't think he's ready.
He's ready.
I don't know.
Think he's ready. I'm telling you, I'm thinking sometime late next year, get another good one. Listen, here's the thing about McKinson, and I said this kid's tough. He's gonna give Ortiz a fight because, again, you don't have all those wins with all those decisions without taking a beating and knowing how to take a beating. He's from a boxing family. He's been doing it his whole life. So, again, credit to Ortiz to eventually blow this guy out because he seems like the kind of guy who would have kept on going.
It never happened before.
Yeah.
That had never happened to him before. Just got walked down and stopped.
Yeah. He was totally out of his element. You're totally out of his league. But still, again, a guy who knows how to fight, which is, I think, the kind of thing Ortiz needs. I'd like to see him get one of those guys that we just mentioned, a Thurman or a Garcia.
I could see McKinson frustrating some of those other guys on that list.
I definitely could too. And again, I would say Ortiz's ability to not get frustrated, to not get impatient, to not break from the plan, and just to continue to do what he came in there to do is a great testament to how good this guy is. If his next fight is against Bud Crawford, I don't see it. If his next fight is against a Garcia or a Thurman and he blows them out of the water, we could talk about maybe he's ready. I would like to see that. A Michael McKinson win expected, a beatdown for sure. Let me see a name. Let me see him blow through a name, and I think we're there.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Joe. I will say, Bud, right now after leaving Bob Arum, he can make the fights he wants, and he's trying to get that Spence fight. And if that doesn't go through, I can see Bud he's the guy who wants the best of the best. I can see him taking the Ortiz fight. And I don't think that's right. I'm with you, Joe. I think I want to see him against a Thurman, an Ugas, a Garcia, one of these other. I don't know about Garcia, but I think
right. It would be a shame to put this kid in with Bud Crawford if he's not ready for it.
Yeah.
Right? It wouldn't.
I don't want to see Canelo versus Floyd Mayweather.
There you go.
I don't want to see that. I think Ortiz.
This kid, I love the Ugas matchup. If I'm a handler of Ortiz Jr., I love that matchup. He walks through that guy in 5 rounds and fights Bud Crawford 20-0 with 20 knockouts. He's not losing anytime soon, and I think he beats all the guys on that list.
Yeah. I don't think Spence will take that fight with Ortiz. I don't think that'll happen, but I do think Crawford would take that fight if that's what's next. But I do want to see another one before that.
Well, look, here's the other thing about Bud Crawford is Bud Crawford loves the sport and he loves everybody else. You know what I mean? I don't think it would be a question of him. If he feels like Ortiz is the guy and it's the right time, Crawford would 100% go for that. And if Crawford were to lose, he would be the guy that would want to wrap that belt around Ortiz Jr.'s waist because that's the kind of person that we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's why he's a great champion. And I'm sure he envisions there being a point where he passes the torch to this young buck. It'd be nice to keep this division healthy we're looking at like another 20 years on top of what we just got. Yeah.
He's making it interesting. Listen, I like Boots. I like Jaron Ennis. But those other guys, Cody Crowley, Conor Benn, Stenosis, these Ellis, the other undefeated fighters on that list, I'm just not really excited about. Ortiz walks through all of those guys and doesn't get any credit for doing it. All the other answers, 6, 7, 8, and 9, those aren't the answers. And everybody else is 32, 34, 36 or better. This is the only answer to the question moving forward. It's nice to have caught this guy in his teen years and been able to talk about him then, because now you guys always harken back to years ago when I told you about some unknown cat named Virgil Ortiz Jr. And hey, at the time it was, I wanted to get 5 names out of my mouth. Can you guys do them? Usyk, Beterbiev, Ortiz Jr.,
Marshall.
Savannah Marshall, and Cyril Gahn.
Yeah.
The only ones are on the list thus far.
Along those lines, I'm going to go. He just made his debut on Dana's Contender Series. Former NCAA champion from Penn State, Bo Nickel. He's going to be one of the next great middleweights.
He looked good, Jason. I remember you mentioning his name before when I saw him, and he did everything he was supposed to do.
Did you guys, by the way, if you watched the fight card last weekend, Mohammed Usman, Kamarov's brother, who's a heavyweight, you guys see him? Dude, he has no kind of technical form at all, dude. But like early on in Ngannou, dude, he knocked the guy out like with like a counter left jab, and I mean put the dude to sleep with that punch. That was crazy.
Yeah,
beautiful,
dude. That's like what Ngannou did to Stipe. Like that's not normal.
It's not human.
That's a monster strength right there, dude. To knock a guy out cold. He was down for like 2 minutes, out cold.
Dude, it was bad. Oh, yeah.
That's why I love heavyweight fights.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I know. Dude, you had to love that fight. That was something else, man. Jeez.
That kid double dare Usman.
And by the way, speaking of Usman, Rogan brings him into the interview while he's talking to his brother, and Kamarov was more or less like, don't talk to me. Just talk to him. It's his time. I love that. You know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like, well, got to acknowledge Kamarov was here, but he didn't want to steal any of the brother's thunder. I thought that was pretty dope.
Yeah. I mean, if you ask Bob Arum, stuff like that isn't marketable. Harkening back to Terrence Crawford. But, all right. Got a fun Who You Got this week, and we'll get to that right after a word from one of our sponsors.
There's no bigger investment than home ownership. And to make sure the house is up to your standards, you need a professional to look it over. Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections is a licensed home inspector and a member of the Connecticut Association of Home Inspectors. Brian was a contractor for over 15 years, so he knows how homes should be constructed and how mechanicals should work.
What makes me a good home inspector was the 20 years that I was a home improvement person, doing all the different repairs that I have done and what other people have done wrong that I had to go out and fix. So I have a pretty quick eye on seeing what's right and what's wrong. Before you move, call Shamrock Home Inspections.
Before you make the biggest investment of your life, call Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections at 860-268-2566 or visit shamrockhomeinspectionct.com.
Big shout out to Shamrock Home Inspection for sponsoring today's episode. Let's get into Who You Got. Making its rounds around social media. Everyone is, I've been seeing everywhere, Diaz from the Mets. Everyone loving his walkout song.
I think it's lame.
You do?
I'll be honest. Yeah, it's not doing anything for me. It's certainly no Enter Sandman.
Of course. Yeah, I saw a TikTok today. It was like, it was like a dude pretending to be a kid. He's like, oh, have you seen this one? And then he pretended to be his dad, all old. He's like, you heard of Mariano Rivera? And I think Enter Sandman is a lot better. But I mean, baseball doesn't just have walkout songs. UFC has walkout songs, a bunch of iconic ones. Mickey Gall coming out to "Oh Mickey, You're So Fine," stuff like that. But all right, we got what is your walkout song? Joe, I think I saw a little hint here in the StreamYard.
I did. I'm going to play a little bit for you because not only would this be my walkout song, I also want this played at my funeral. And I'm asking you guys to make sure that this happens. Okay?
Joe, you have my word.
You're the man. I appreciate that. Somebody just recently did a version of this, but and that's not why. I mean, because I've thought about this for years now. Let me just play it. This is where the coffin will show up in the front of the church. You guys are doing it right. Probably popping the casket open. We're going open casket on this. My eyes are open. You've whitened them out, obviously.
There's a spring attached to your back.
Yeah, this is the greatest walkout in the history of walkouts. This is the one I'm using.
Damn, I thought it was Hell's Bells.
Hell's Bells is cute. I like that song too, but I had to go with this one. I also have an alternative song, if you don't mind. You could indulge me. This is a guy I really like as a singer, but also as a child, this was one of the first songs I absolutely loved, and it always fired me up. We used to play wrestling outside and jump on top of each other. I had a move where I would flip over people and try to do a reverse pin. It was called the Aguirre Flyer. But this right here was the jam that got me all fired up.
Everybody is kung fu fighting.
Come on! I would have a dance or something like this. Come on, CeeLo Green too. You can't go wrong with a little CeeLo on the program. So those are the two songs that immediately came to mind for me.
Well, if you come out to Kung Fu, you got to be doing spinning and flying.
Oh yeah, of course I would. I would come out like that fat Kung Fu panda for real. I'd probably be dressed like him just to really play it up.
All right, I love both of those.
Thank you.
Yeah, but there's so many great ones. You can't go wrong with anything. Well, I mean, I guess you could. But all right, Jared, what you got?
I had to do a couple different things here. Now, first of all, Joe, this is what I thought you were going to play.
That's dope. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's what I thought you were going to play.
That's a good
Now, I actually have 3 walkout songs that I would walk out to. But first, the top 12 songs you wouldn't walk out to.
Oh, I love it.
Number 1, Dancing Queen by ABBA.
Yeah, don't
Excuse
do
me,
that.
that's we're going to go backwards. Number 11 is YMCA, Village People. Number 10, Stay, Lisa Loeb. And you say...
I love that song, but definitely not appropriate for a
Probably
walkout.
not. Yeah. Total Eclipse of the Heart comes in at number 9.
What
Bruno
about,
Mars.
what about the dance mix of that song? Could that?
See, maybe that works too well.
Maybe, probably not, but maybe. All right.
Number 8, Bruno Mars, The Lazy Song. Today. So Far Away. I ran so far away, a flock of seagulls at number 7, and I ran. Number 6, Wake Me Up Before You Go, Go Wham. Number 5, Mary J. Blige, I'm going down. Number 4, Anita Ward, you can ring my bell. For a walkout song?
No good.
Number 3, Alanis Morissette, I'm a bitch. Number 2, Britney Spears, Hit Me, Baby, One More Time.
Yeah, that's asking for it.
And coming in at number 1.
I don't hate this.
I love it.
Okay, and
no Sarah McLachlan?
No. And my walkout songs, number 3 was the Vader Imperial March. Number 2 is come on, man. My boy here.
Yeah. All right.
And number 3 is Up for Ruckus, which is or number 1, excuse me. Up for Ruckus is a song I wrote. That's like a walkout.
Can we hear it?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I probably got pieces of it. Yeah.
I'll even take some freestyle. Whatever.
Hey, but I will say, you bringing that up, last person to walk out to his own song, Tyron Woodley, when he lost the belt to Kamaru Usman.
We gon' track. Act like you got it, but you running out of luck. You know when it's done that you're fucked, so you keep just stuck into us, cause we up with us. Y'all get sucker punched with uppercuts and fucking with us. Don't even buzz, just keep running from us. Motherfuckers ain't up for ruckus, so shut the fuck up.
Damn.
I like that. Chase, did you write a song for this show as well? Or
No, I did not.
no.
You
Picked all the good ones.
This show almost works too. That ain't bad.
Well, if there were a walkout show for this song, if there were a walkout song for this show, I would have come out to Back in Black since I missed last episode. I just love AC/DC, and that's a great walkout song.
Welcome back, the remix, Mace.
All right. But I will say one thing about for me, when I play football, like in the locker room and that stuff, that's when I'd get pumped up and all that stuff. But the bus ride, that's I'd want to loosen up. When I was on the field, I want to loosen up, something a little bit more fun, a little bit more lighthearted. And when like a walkout song, like I really like Darren Till coming out to like Sweet Caroline, stuff like that. Get the crowd involved, everyone. Oh yeah, Wu-Tang Clan.
I'll take some Wu, for sure.
But for me, just me being me, I think there's one song that I think will just does me justice. Because I love it when you call me Big Papa. Hell yeah.
That's a solid.
Get the crowd going, get everyone into it.
You know,
I also assume if you were a fighter, that would be your name, Big Papa. So the whole thing would make sense.
Hell yeah, baby.
Yeah.
I liked Calvin Cater coming out to House of the Rising Sun, too. I thought that was great. When you talk about a vibe, there was
Dude, that's also one of my all-time favorite songs, and that was one of my favorite walkouts of all time. That was insane.
Yeah. On that level, though, Anderson Silva coming out to Ain't No Sunshine, DMX. Ain't No Sunshine.
Yeah.
Dope.
That gives me chills watching that. But there's so many. That's gonna have to be another Who You Got best walkout song for a fighter, because we can go with that. And then I also another one on my list that the UFC actually shot down for Roy Big Country Nelson, Weird Al, I'm Fat. That would have been a cool one.
Why doesn't he use the song from Big Country?
Yeah.
Yeah. in a big country. You know, that's like it's literally called Big Country by the band Big Country, and his nickname is, use it.
Yeah. All right. But I like all those songs. Unless it's off Jared's list, you can't go wrong with it. Mickey Gall came out to "Oh Mickey, You're So Fine" and everyone loved it. So, and then he tapped out CM Punk and fell into obscurity ever since.
Yeah,
But
any '90s R&B song is welcome on my list of things not to come. Any of those, like "I Wanna Sex You Up," don't come out to that.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
But what do you do, guys? Stretching out. I'm a bit of a wrestler. Huh?
Oh my God! I will say, shout out to Dana White because he does vet all the. That's how much he loves music. He has to okay your walkout song before you even do it. So shout out to him. None of Jared's top 12 are getting on.
Not yet.
No.
Keep hope alive.
Maybe one day. I don't know.
They're working on it.
But all right. Enough of that. Got one more break, and then we're gonna get in to tonight's fights or tomorrow's fights. It's weird saying that, even though we've done it the past however many weeks, but whatever. Here's a word from one of our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
We can expect another wet summer in Connecticut, and that means more mosquitoes than ever. If you don't have your home serviced for mosquito control and you find you're spending most of your outside time swatting those little pests, or you did have your yard sprayed but you still have bites all over your body, you're in luck. Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut provides the best value in mosquito control services because of how they treat your yard using the Mosquito Shield tailored treatment system. All mosquito control service is not the same. They don't use a fixed schedule or an identical product, one-size-fits-all service program. You can't control mosquitoes on a set number of sprays or visits. Unlike the competition, Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut will service you for the season, whatever it takes to provide superior results. The promise has awarded them an industry-leading customer retention rating of 90%. Visit MosquitoShieldCNCT.com to schedule an appointment with Wade DeCesare and enjoy the rest of the summer mosquito-free.
Saturday Night Live from San Diego, California. The UFC on ESPN features a bantamweight bout between Marlon Vera and former two-time UFC bantamweight champion Dominic Cruz. Let's break it down. Marlon Vera is 29 years old. He's 5'8" with a 70.5-inch reach and a record of 19-7-1 with 7 knockouts and 8 submissions. From Chon, Ecuador, he started training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at the age of 16 and after a brief amateur career turned pro in February of 2012 with a first-round triangle choke submission. He quickly went 6-1-1 before joining the cast of The Ultimate Fighter Latin America, where he competed on Team Verdum but was unable to compete in the semifinal due to a skin infection. He made his official UFC debut in November of 2014, losing by unanimous decision to fellow castmate Marco Beltran, but bounced back 9 months later, earning his first performance of the night with a second-round triangle choke of Roman Salazar. After a decision loss to Davey Grant, he went on a 3-fight winning streak, including an armbar submission of Brian Keller, before dropping 2 in a row to John Lineker and Douglas De Andrade. He came back with a second-round body shot knockout of Wilgili Burin, and then embarked on another 5-fight winning streak, including a rear naked choke of Guido Canetti and a performance of the night third-round knockout of Andrew Ewell before dropping unanimous decision to Song Yadong. On October 15, 2020, he defeated Sugar Shane O'Malley, stopping him with ground and pound after dropping him with a brutal calf kick. However, in his next fight, he was outpointed by former featherweight champion and UFC legend Jose Aldo. In June of 2021, he avenged his loss to Davey Grant with a unanimous decision and 5 months later scored the biggest win of his career when after an exciting back-and-forth slugfest, he knocked out former lightweight champion Frankie Edgar with a savage front kick to the jaw. On April 30th, 2022, he took on perennial contender Rob Font, withstanding an early onslaught to eventually turn the tide, landing a flying knee in the third round, which dropped Font before administering a hellacious beating en route to a unanimous decision victory. An elite-level grappler with an excellent ground game, Vera is also a highly tactical striker who can effortlessly switch stances as he applies constant pressure to his opponents. Dominic Cruz is 36 years old. He's 5'8", with a 68-inch reach and a record of 24-3 with 7 knockouts and 1 submission. From Tucson, Arizona, he took up wrestling in 7th grade, competing throughout high school until an arm injury in his senior year caused him to lose his scholarship to the University of Colorado. He attended a local community college for a time where he was studying to become a firefighter when he began his MMA career before making his professional debut in June of 2005 with a split decision victory. He quickly went 9-0 before joining World Extreme Cage Fighting, losing his debut via first-round guillotine choke submission to Uriah Faber. He bounced back with a first-round knockout of Kenneth Ames and followed that up with a 4-fight winning streak before knocking out Brian Bowles to win the WEC Bantamweight title. He defended his belt twice with decisions over Joseph Benavidez and Scott Jorgensen before the UFC absorbed the WEC in 2010, with Cruz defending his new UFC belt the following year with a hard-fought decision over bitter rival Uriah Faber in a brutal fight that saw both men dropped multiple times. 3 months later, he defended the title against MMA legend Demetrius Johnson with a unanimous decision, but was later forced to vacate the belt after suffering a torn ACL and then having his body reject the transplanted one. After a 3-year layoff, he returned in September of 2014 with a first-round knockout of Takaya Mizugaki. However, shortly after the fight, he tore his ACL again, sidelining him until January of 2016 when he returned against TJ Dillashaw, winning a hard-fought split decision to reclaim the bantamweight title in one of the greatest comebacks in the history of the UFC. For his first defense, he concluded his trilogy with Uriah Faber via unanimous decision, but 6 months later, in December of 2016, took on Cody Garbrandt, getting dominated from the start and dropped multiple times en route to a unanimous decision loss. He was expected to return against Jimmy Rivera the following year. However, after suffering a broken arm and subsequent shoulder injury in 2018, he did not return to action until May of 2020 when he took on new champion Henry Cejudo, but was dropped in round 2 with a knee to the face and finished with ground and pound. He came back the following year with a split decision over Casey Kinney, and in December of 2021, earned the fight of the night with a gritty victory over Pedro Munoz, surviving 2 first-round knockdowns to take control of the fight en route to a unanimous decision. In an illustrious career that has unfortunately been plagued by numerous injuries, he is known for his unorthodox movement, good footwork, and excellent wrestling, and is one of the most agile fighters in the division who uses feints and a solid jab to set up strikes from all angles. Will Vera's power and elite grappling be able to overwhelm Cruz as he continues to prove he belongs among the best of the division? Or will the championship experience and awkward style of Cruz be too much for Chito as the Dominator attempts to make another run at bantamweight gold? Tune in Saturday night to Vera versus Cruz. Let's find out.
All right. I mean, we talked a lot about, I talked a lot about dinosaurs with the light heavyweights fights. Dominic Cruz he is a dinosaur. Is he gonna? So much time off. He is a big philosopher of ring rust is not a thing. Joe, will ring rust be a thing?
I've never seen ring rust not be a thing, and for anyone to be a commentator in that sport to say that is an idiot. Now, does that mean Dominic Cruz is going to lose? Not necessarily, but to act like that it's not a factor. Put it to you like this. Dominic Cruz has not fought since I joined this show. Like, he's been mostly inactive. He's called a lot of fights. I enjoy watching his commentary. But, dude, this guy's, I don't know. Marlon Vera's a really good fighter. Dominic Cruz clearly was one of the best. I just think his time has passed, and I think it's been way too long. I like Cheeto to win this one. I don't know how it's going to play out. I'm thinking this probably goes the distance. A 5-round banger. The last time we saw Dominic Cruz in one of those didn't go that well for him. So, yeah, I'm going to take Cheeto by decision in this one. But a pretty good beatdown for the most part.
All right.
Chase?
I'm with that. I'm with you. I've been ever since. I've been very high on Marlon Chito Vera. I think last fight against Edgar got rid of a dinosaur. I think it's like back when Randy Orton was the legend killer.
The legend killer. I knew you were going to say that. That's good. Yeah.
Come out, get these guys out of here. Maybe TJ Dillashaw next. Then eventually get your title shot. But I think it's Marlon Vera's time. Dominic Cruz, he's great. He's like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Very, very unique, very unorthodox. It's going to take some time to really feel him out. So that's why he's able to last longer than a lot of people think. But I think eventually Marlon Vera is going to figure it out, get it done. Out of respect, I'll say decision, but I think Marlon Vera has the ability to end this before the final bell rings. But Jared, what you got?
When that's your way to win, think of tricky fighters. Name some tricky, unorthodox fighters. And now name the ones that were like long-term champions. When you get to a certain spot, it's the opposite of what I say about B-Hop and Joe Aguirre. When you get to a certain spot and that's how you win, and you're not adapting to the new game, you're using that slick stuff that Dominic Cruz has become known for. The game has a tendency to pass you by. I think Vera stops him in the first round. I'm taking Marlon Alo Vera. First round stoppage of Dominic. Windows down in Cruz.
Damn.
First round, huh?
First round. This stops early.
Choker knockout. What's
I think
happening?
he hurts him with a leg kick.
Okay.
I think he comes out there with a good, strong, prime of my life 29-year-old leg kick to a 37-year-old battered bamboo stick on the bottom of Dominic, and I think it hurts him. I think it softens him up really, really early, softens him up with leg kicks. And once he has to adjust to that, those Cody Garbrandt shots, there's a lot of guys who stop him if they land those, and this is one of them.
All right. I get where you're coming from, but I think Dominic Cruz is such a mainstay of the UFC. I think the first round, especially in a 5-round fight, I think it's going to be a feeling out process, so like a respect thing. So I think at most it's going to, the soonest it gets stopped is in the second round when Cheeto gets
during that feeling out process. A leg kick hurts Cruz. Vera's a killer, man. Yeah, respect and all of that, but this guy in the octagon is a killer. He's going to go after it when he sees that, and he's going to smell blood in the water early, smell weakness, and go after the vulnerability and stop this guy early. I really think Vera gets done early. Take the under.
All right. I
What
like
is
that.
Vera under looking like right now, by the way?
Well, if I had to guess, 3.5. 4.5.
Vera's minus 225, and under 4.5 is plus 160. You got 22 minutes and 30 seconds for either one of them to do something for plus 160. I'm taking that all day.
I know I said decision. I know I said
Under
decision.
4.5.
I like that under too, especially with that. I mean, I'm just giving Dominic Cruz the respect because he is a dinosaur. But hey, I don't know. I don't know. This is going to be a fun one, I think. Either way, I do see Cheeto walking away victorious. And that's a guy, he needs to get a title shot here soon. I don't want to see TJ Dillashaw. Do we really want to see TJ Dillashaw?
Not I.
No. We give Marlon Vera in there. Get Jan back in there. Come on. There's some fun fights to make. And Aljamain Sterling and TJ Dillashaw, that's not a championship fight. Let's be real here. But all right.
I'm not kosher with kosher. Dillashaw.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Oh geez. Yeah. Well.
4 times. Jeez.
Huh.
That's
Props to Facebook user. Sounds just like somebody I know.
That's crazy. But I mean, you think it's crazy to think this sport.
2 knees,
like
37 years, 4 torn ACLs. I'm not good at math.
But it's crazy that in this sport like MMA, Dominic Cruz can still have 4 torn ACLs and still compete at a pretty high level.
One of his 4 ACLs isn't even his now.
Yeah, but you look at a guy like Derrick Rose, he tore his ACL, never the same basketball wise. It's crazy to think in like a sport like MMA that you can compete like that. That's just wild.
Dude, that's like Tony Strawback. I mean, Tony Romo. I get my Cowboys quarterbacks confused all the time. It just gets to a point. You know, the end of Iceman's career, Chuck Liddell, and you just throw a piece of paper at them and they fall over. Just made of twigs.
Yeah.
This is and he's 37 years old. Yeah, his comeback's got a couple wins, but there was a 4-year layoff here too. Despite the fact that he hasn't fought since Joe's been on. You go back 3 fights before that, and there's that Cody Garbrandt whooping. 15-minute highlight reel for Cody Garbrandt. The best he ever was in his life. Former champion Cody Garbrandt was when he beat down Dominic Cruz, and then there's a 4-year layoff. And then you go 2-1 in these comeback fights and get a fight against a 29-year-old, won 3 in a row, beat 3 monsters too. What are the last 3 on Vera?
Frankie Edgar for sure.
Rob Font, Davey Grant, Frankie Edgar, Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, Sean O'Malley's only lost.
First round.
Yeah, everyone loves to hype up O'Malley, but
Sean, listen, O'Malley doesn't count that loss on his record. He's still undefeated. Marlon Vera kicked him hard in the leg and he fell. That wasn't cool, man.
And hey, that's not a 37-year-old leg with 4 broken ACLs.
Yeah,
and a cadaver.
True that, man. Yeah, that's not good. You're right.
That leg had never been torn up like that before.
I could see Cheeto doing this in round 1.
Lands a leg kick
now that I'm thinking on it.
Smells blood in the water and attacks like he does because he's a killer and finishes a 37-year-old man in the first round.
Okay.
That's what I think.
But who knows? Ring rust.
What are the side bets on round 1 stoppage? Vera in round 1 plus 900.
Are we picking a fight of the night? Are we doing that bit?
Yeah.
Because I got one. I got the one I got. Yeah. Lupe Godinez is taking on 13th ranked Angela Hill, who is 13-12.
Angela Hill's a monster.
If she loses, the 13th ranked Angela Hill would be 13-13. I'll say this. Listen, I'm making fun of her for her record. I know we all are fans of this woman, and for some reason, and I don't want to say what I think it is, Angela Hill cannot get the judges to write her name on those scorecards, no matter how much punishment she doles out. I'm looking forward to her just pounding it out with this Mexican fighter, Jace. It's going to be a hell of a fight. I'm sure she'll probably lose by decision, split decision at that, no doubt. But always love watching Angela Hill getting the octagon, man.
You know who she reminds me of?
You.
A boxer that finished his career 12-12-1. And none of his wins went to the scorecards. And I think 8 of his losses didn't go to the scorecards. But he was like 0-4-1 when it went to the judges and finished 12-12-1. Will Brand, Scrub Scraps alum Will Brand, 12-12, never won a judge.
Interesting.
2 of those losses are mean. To be fair, he shouldn't have. But Joel, Buju, there were some really close fights in there where he ended up with, could never win a judge. Yeah, and Angela Hill, yes, she's fan friendly. Augustus, why am I missing his name now? Emmanuel Augustus. He's one of my favorite fighters of all time, and he had a 500 record type for a long time.
Yeah.
Not ideal, but, you can.
Thank you. I knew Tony was on his way.
Want. It's not what you want in your favorite fighter, of course.
Yeah, but I will
you
say,
guys should put up some little drunken master highlight reel for 30 seconds of Emmanuel Augustus. Show people why he's my favorite fighter of all time, because that guy was exciting to watch. Boy, he would always say, "I'm an entertainer first. I want to win my fight second," and he'd go out there and prove it in the ring. And yeah, Mayweather interviewed to date, Emmanuel Augustus was my toughest fight. Had a war with Mickey Ward, I think he won. Courtney Burton's first loss should have been Emmanuel Augustus. Because the wrong guy won this fight. If I played the Teddy Atlas clip, you guys would recognize it. That's an Emmanuel Augustus fight that he should have won. So he got robbed a bunch of times. He threw a fight or two. I mean, crazy career. Entertainer first, though.
I will say, last week, a lot of people were talking about records of like people. Why are they still in the with Sam Alvey? He's on like a 10-fight losing streak, keeps getting knocked out. Somehow he still has a job in the UFC. Angela Hill, completely different story. She's actually competing. She's actually going out there. Sam Alvey, it's cool that you shave a smile into your face, but into the back of your head. But come on.
Oh yeah, Hill entertains us every time, and they can't stop her. So. Yeah, I'll watch her fight again. Sure. She's the gatekeeper you want. Will Brand was the guy you wanted to see on the card, too. He was going to bring the punches. He was going to bring the excitement. He was going to try to get the stoppage. He didn't want to see the judges. They never picked him anyways. That's a fighter's fighter. Yeah, and Angela Hill is just like that. I'll watch her on. You could put her on every card if she's healthy and ready.
Yeah.
And it seems like she's on a lot of the cards.
Oh, yeah, keep
and
doing
again,
that.
I mean,
we get to find out exactly what we want to know about the other person when Angela Hill's up against him.
100%, because that's the effort that you get. And it's a shame that she doesn't get a little bit more love, because she really is a consummate professional.
Angela Hill, Throwing Jabs podcast. We love you, girl.
Hell yeah. Well, all right. I think that's about it for the fights. We got a big one next weekend. Joshua Usyk rematch. UFC Usman versus Leon Edwards. Going to be a fun one. What, you don't like
Not
that?
for Leon Edwards.
Hey, last man to beat Usman.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
It was a long, long time ago, but still, it sucks. I'd rather see Edwards and Masvidal fight. 3-piece in a soda, But
love that.
Hey, but all right, that's gonna do it. It's gonna be a fun one to. I keep saying tonight because I'm so used to that, even though. But next tomorrow with Chito Vera and Dominic Cruz. Fun one for the Bantamweights. And hopefully the winner will face off against the winner of Aljamain Sterling and TJ Dillashaw coming up too. A lot of fun fights, but that's going to do it as far as fights go for myself, Big Jace, Joe Aguirre, Jared Jones. Big shout out to Clovercrest Media for sponsoring today's episode. Make sure you check out clovercrestmedia.com. Also, big shout out to Mosquito Shield, Shamrock Home Inspection, and Chris Sawyer, Andy Mac Home Mortgage. Make sure you check them out as well. Now, we're going to end the show like we always do. And Jared, brother, hit us with that flurry.
I always try to do my best to have the most positive and best influence I can, an impact on a short amount of time for people that I'll only see for a short time. I did a flurry about a guy named Tom who we met for about 2 or 3 minutes that, just a little bit of time and a little bit of energy focused in the right direction. And you never know what kind of difference you're going to make in somebody else's life. So I said something about Ian, a kid that fought at Scrubs last week in my flurry. We did a 10 count for him. And I probably met the kid maybe a half dozen times. We didn't know each other real well. And what I said was, but when you teach somebody how to protect themselves, it's a really, it's kind of a special connection, I feel like. But I'm feeling like I was a blip in this kid's life, one of the many, many things he did. We went to his memorial service, and just before we got to the line of his relatives, rewind a little bit. When I got out of prison in 2008, my friend Ray had started a little program of scrub scraps, kind of. He was training at this kid Ian's house with 2 or 3 other kids. And that's when I went over there and was teaching them. Anyway, so we're about to get to the front of the line, and my wife leans in and says, I literally don't know anybody here. What am I supposed to say? And I said, I only know his wife. We're just going to wing it. And then I extended my hand to his mother, and I said, hi, I'm Jared. And she was holding something in her hand, and she was looking the other way, and she glanced up at me, and she gave me her left hand. She briefly grabbed my hand and said, hi. And I said, I run a boxing program. And she looked up at me, and she gave me a hug. And she said, Ian was so into that. And when she let me go, the kid next to her grabbed me, and I realized he was one of those 2 or 3 other kids that I had trained. And he hugged me real tight and said, Jared, thank you so much for coming. And then I hugged his wife, who thanked me for coming, and turned to whoever, aunt or sister next to her, and says, this is the guy that runs Scrub Scraps. And the whole line of them in unison, oh. And looks at Grandma and says, this is where he got the nickname Leaks. Like your grandmother, he bled every time in his scrub scrap was the only time he didn't bleed. Every time I went up there and sparred with the kid, he was just kind of a bleeder, so his nickname became Leaks. And to think that his grandmother called him Leaks. Sometimes we feel like we're just a blip in another person's life, and just keep trying to make a positive impact, because you don't know how much of it people are really bringing home with them. And whether you're positive or negative, you can really leave a mark. Thanks, guys.
Throwing jabs, always full send. Here we go again. Jared, Joe, and Jay's Clovercrest, top three corner man. Punching in with a puncher's chance, we find a way to win. The main event, locked it in every Saturday at 10. The overhand is out of hand when it comes to fisticuffs. Slide a hand on the undercard, you'll never see the punch. Uppercut got you missing weight, feet are stepping late. Keep your guard up, feeling faint from a feint. Take a stand and eight, then retaliate. Put up your duke, stick and move, bob and weave. Don't lose hope against the ropes, there's always an escape. Never stay down. One more round, bells ringing. Counter punch with your chin tucked and go down swinging. We bringing crosses with no worship, hooks with no verses, combinations with no locks. When you feel the flurry, it's curtains. From scrub scraps to fight stats, relax if you want the facts. Cause the best combat podcast is throwing jabs.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.